everyone, welcome back. My name's Vicki-Lynne and I like to call this Cooking Vegan with Vicki. Hope everybody's doing well today. I'm doing another new recipe, of course vegan, and we're going to do a spinach artichoke dip. Doing a little series for actually entertaining. Not that we're doing a lot of entertaining during COVID. You shouldn't be doing any entertaining during COVID. So I'm actually making smaller recipes. So if you're alone or if you're just a couple, you're doing your own little football parties or Super Bowls coming up, anytime you just want to have a little snack, I'm making smaller recipes because this has actually been highly recommended from some of my single friends or my couples. So we're going to do a spinach artichoke dip. And this is also good for tailgating if we ever start doing tailgating again. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use our trusty soaked cashews. So these are raw cashews. So if you're here in the States, probably the easiest place to get them is Trader Joe's. They're pretty cheap, and they don't have to be the whole ones. They're just the pieces, you can see. And I've soaked mine overnight. So when you're vegan, silken tofu and cashews are your best friend because they can make anything you want them to be. So this is actually going to make our cheesy sauce that we're going to use in our dip. So I'm going to put them in my trusty Vitamix. I love my Vitamix. It is, it does everything. If you don't, long as you've soaked your cashews, a regular blender should be fine. You shouldn't have any issues. And to that, we're going to add, I had 3/4 of a cup of soaked cashews. And now I'm going to add equal amounts of plant-based milk. You could use water if you didn't have any plant-based milk, but it's pretty easy to find plant-based milk. I have 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Again, a vegan's best friend. Makes things a little cheesy and tasty. And gives it a little umami flavor. I'm also going to add just about a teaspoon of a white miso paste. White miso paste, I find, maybe about half a teaspoon. I find it gives it like a little depth of flavor. It adds a little, can't really kind of pick it out, but it's there. And that's what we're looking for. Now, because this recipe is actually going to be baked in the oven, and we actually have our oven preheated to 400 degrees for this, I'm actually going to use a fresh garlic that's been minced, and this is about 3 to 4 cloves of garlic. I've used the stuff that's already pre-minced because we don't need to, we're just making this easy. So especially if you're tailgating, this can just be done the morning of. This actually can be done on a barbecue if need be. And I'm also going to do the juice of 1 lemon. And you're going to play around with it. You're going to try it out and see how it is. If you don't have lemon, you can also use apple cider vinegar. If you don't want to use fresh garlic, you can use about, I would say maybe a teaspoon, a little less than a teaspoon of garlic powder. So I'm just going to start my blender off. I'm going to turn the power on. That usually helps. There we go. And so now we're going to blend this, and we're going to let this blend for about 3 minutes because we want it to be nice and smooth and creamy. Okay, so that's been running for about 3 minutes, and it's nice and smooth. And so in this, I used plant-based milk. I used soy milk, but if you didn't have soy milk, you could use almond milk, coconut milk. I don't know about, there's so many milks out there. Just use whatever you have. We're not going to try to reinvent the wheel again. We're just trying to make this nice and easy. I'm using a frozen spinach just because it's so much easier. If you want to use fresh spinach, use fresh spinach. If you're using frozen spinach, you want to take it out the night before, let it defrost on the counter overnight. Make sure you put it in a bowl because it will leak everywhere. And then you're just going to want to make sure you chop it up nice and fine. Make sure you squeeze out all the extra water because we don't want that in our dip. And this one was already like chopped, so we're good with that. We're going to put that in our bowl. And then we have our artichokes. So I have a jar of artichokes. You can get the can. You could also use, so I have it drained. And we're just going to chop this up also. We want to get as much moisture out. And if you didn't have artichoke hearts, the other thing you could use too is hearts of palm. That would be really good in here too. That's kind of gives a nice little same kind of texture as the artichokes. And we're just going to make sure that we dice those up, because we want to have a little bite, but we don't want them to be huge. Now, if you wanted it to be really super smooth, you could just throw everything right into the blender, blend it all together, and I'm actually going to leave those. They seem to be a little tough. The outside leaves seem to be tough, so I don't want those in my... I want to be able to chew. Yeah, so you could just put everything right in the blender, just blend it right up, and then pour it in your pan. And you can make this ahead of time, a couple of days ahead, just have it ready to go in the fridge. If you're having, a few people over or whatever, this is a really good make ahead kind of recipe that you don't have to worry about. Now, if you have any recipes that you think I would enjoy, I would love it if you let me know down below. Leave me a couple of comments. If you're new here, please let me know that too, so I can say, hey, hi, welcome to my channel. If there's any questions that you have, I'm here as a resource, or at least I try to be a resource from at least what I know so far. But again, this is all a journey for everybody, so we're always learning, and we're all just here to be kind to each other. And again, don't forget, you need to subscribe so that you're notified every time I upload. I'm trying to do at least minimum of 2 a week. And I have some really great recipes coming up that you don't want to miss for sure. Okay. We're almost done here. Right. One more. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to mix that all in with my cheese sauce. That's our cream sauce. I am super excited. I love this. So this is be great with pita bread that's toasted, like a French baguette that's been cut up and grilled, or even just plain if it's fresh. That would be really good for dipping into this. And there we go. So we're just going to blend this up. Now, so this is going to be nice and thin. So that's what we want, because we want it to be bubbly. And we want it to be liquidy so that your dipper is going to get lots on it. There we go. Okay. We're going to put it in our pan. And again, if you're tailgating, you can do it obviously in tinfoil pans or whatever, just to keep it easy. So what you're going to do is you're going to put it in the oven at 400 degrees, covered for 10 minutes, and then you're going to take the covering off, and you're going to continue to cook it. And at that point, you're going to want to make it another 10 minutes, because you want it to brown and bubble up. And I'm putting it very shallow in this shallow dish, because I like a lot of surface, and I like it to get brown and crispy on top. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of, so you can see how lovely that is. I'm actually going to add a little bit of plant-based Parmesan. I get this at Whole Foods, just to crisp up the top so that it's crispy and light. You could also use a little bit more of nutritional yeast on top if you don't have any of this. And that's another tip that you could do is in a food processor, take some of your raw cashews and your nutritional yeast, blend equal parts, so half a cup, blend it up, and that makes your own little plant-based Parmesan that you can use on your pasta and stuff, and you don't have to go out and buy. But if you have something available, sometimes it's nice to try new products, and I know this is actually a good product. So in the oven, this is going to go, and this is going to go on our spread.